Good day everyone. In this video, we find the critical path on a project network. So before we start, what is critical path method? The critical path method is a technique that allows you to identify tasks that are necessary for project completion. Critical path in project management is the longest sequence of activities that must be finished on time to complete the entire project.
Node convention. Here is the activity being described, and T represents the expected activity duration time. ES is the earliest time the activity can start. EF is the earliest finish time. LS is the latest start time, and LF is the latest finish time without extending the minimum completion time of the project. Activities A has no predecessors, so they can begin as start. Activity B and C need to complete before it can start. D needs B complete. E and F need C. G needs D and E. H depends on E and F. And I depends on G and H. Since I has no successors, it goes to finish. Here's the network with the activity displaying the predecessors in time. Let's do the forward pass. Since A has no predecessors, its earliest start time will be 0 with activity time of 5 weeks. A will have an earliest finish time of 0 plus 5 is equals to 5.
B needs A to complete before it can start. Since the earliest finish time for A is 5, then the earliest time that B can start is 5. With the activity time of 10 weeks, B will have an earliest finish time of 10 plus 5 is equals to 15. C needs A to complete before it can start. Since the earliest finish time of A is 5, then the earliest time that C can start is 5 with the activity time of 13 weeks. C will have an earliest finish time of 13 plus 5 is equals to 18. D needs B to complete before it can start. Since the earliest finish time of B is 15, then the earliest time that D can start is 15. With an activity time of 7 weeks, D will have an earliest finish time of 7 plus 15 is equals to 22. E needs B to complete before it can start. Since the earliest finish time of B is 15, then the earliest time that E can start is 15. Activity time of 3 weeks, E will have an earliest finish time of 3 plus 15 is equals to 18. F needs C to complete before it can start. Since the earliest finish time of C is 18, the earliest time that F can start would be 18. In activity time of 9 weeks, F will have an earliest finish time of 9 plus 18 is equals to 27. G needs E and D to complete before it can start. Since the earliest finish time of E and D are 18 and 22, then the earliest time that G can start is 22. In other words, the highest earliest finish time between E and D should be the earliest start time that G can start, which is 22. G will have an earliest finish time of 4 plus 22 is equals to 26. H has a predecessor of E and F. The earliest finish time of E and F are 18 and 27. Since the highest earliest finish time between E and F is 27, the earliest start time that H can start is 27. With activity time of 3 weeks, he will have an earliest finish time of 3 plus 27 is equals to 30. I need H and G to complete before it can start. The earliest finish time of H and G are 30 and 26. Since the highest earliest finish time between H and G is 30, the earliest start time that I can start is 30. With activity time of 7 weeks, I will have an earliest finish time of 7 plus 30 is equals to 37.
Now, let's do the backward pass. Since the earliest finish time is 37 weeks, the latest finish time for I would be 37. I cannot be completed not longer with 37 weeks. The latest start time can get by subtracting the activity time from the latest finish time. 37 subtracted by the activity time of 7 is equal to 30. H has only one successor I. The latest finish time for H was the latest start time of I, which is 30. And the latest start time of H would be 30 subtracted by the activity of 3 is equal to 27. G has only one successor I. The latest finish time for H was the latest start time of I, which is 30, and the latest start time of G will be 30 subtracted by the activity time of 4 is equal to 26. F has only one successor H. The latest finish time for F was the latest start time of H, which is 27, and the latest start time of F will be 27 subtracted by the activity time of 9 is equal to 18. E has two successor G and H. The latest start time of G and H was 26 and 27. Since the minimum latest start time between G and H was 26, so the latest finish time of E would be 26, and the latest start time will be 26 subtracted by the activity time of 3 is equal to 23. D has only one successor G. The latest finish time for D was the latest start time of G, which is 26, and the latest start time will be 26 subtracted by the activity time of 7 is equal to 19. C has only one successor F. The latest finish time for C was the latest start time for G, which is 18, and the latest start time will be 18 subtracted by the activity time of 13 is equal to 5. B has two successor D and E. The latest start time of D and E was 19 and 23. Since the minimum latest start time between D and E was 19, so the latest finish time would be 19, and the latest start time will be 19 subtracted by the activity time of 10 is equal to 9. A has two successor B and C. The latest start time of B and C was 9 and 5. Since the minimum latest start time between B and C was 5, so the latest finish time would be 5, and the latest start time would be 5 subtracted by the activity time of 5 is equal to 0. Slack. To calculate the slack is equal to latest start time subtracted by earliest start time, or latest finish time subtracted by earliest finish time. The slack for A would be 0 subtracted by 0, or 5 subtracted by 5, which will be 0. So the slack for A would be 0. The slack for B was 5 subtracted by 9, or 15 subtracted by 9 is equal to 4. So the slack for B would be 4. The slack for C was 5 subtracted by 5, or 18 subtracted by 18 is equal to 0. So the slack for C would be 0. The slack for D was 15 subtracted by 19, or 22 subtracted by 26 is equal to 4. So, the slack for D would be 4. The slack for E was 15 subtracted by 23 or 18 subtracted by 26 is equal to 8. So, the slack for E would be 8. Slack for F was 18 subtracted by 18 or 27 subtracted by 27 is equal to 0. So, the slack for F would be 0. The slack for G was 22 subtracted by 26 or 26 subtracted by 30 is equal to 4. So, the slack for G would be 4. For H was 27 subtracted by 27 or 30 subtracted by 30 is equal to 0. So, the slack for H would be 0. And the slack for I was 30 subtracted by 30 or 37 subtracted by 37 is equal to 0. So, the slack for I would be 0. The slack is equal to 0 means critical activity. So, the critical path are A, C, F, H, and I.